This is a Next Wednesday media production.
Hi, you guys. Welcome back to the final installment of the 90210 saga. Okay, so what's been happening? I think I left off maybe like season 8. We all know Dylan, he comes back. Basically, long story short, he came back for Kelly. All right, but Kelly's engaged to Matt. I'll get to that. So, anyways, Dylan, he has a fling with Gina. I'll talk about her. I'm trying to think of who else. I want to say that's it. But any Hoosers, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Okay, so with Dylan or whatever, he actually finds out that his dad faked his death and was in the witness protection program, had moved to like Arizona, had a wife and kid. So with them cutting out episodes, right? There's the episode where he discovers his dad is alive. Him, Kelly, and Matt go to they basically get to Arizona, find out where he lives or whatever, and then that episode, like Dylan like was gonna go up to the door and I guess like talk to him, say whatever to him, like why'd you fake your death type shit. And but at the end of the episode, it's like his dad, he ends up leaving, but his dad finds him and I guess comes and explains everything because they cut out the following episode, which picks up where that leaves off. And by the end of the series, him and Kelly still aren't together. So that's the deal with Dylan. Okay, so let's get into Kelly and Matt. So Kelly gets engaged to Matt. She was dating him like, I want to say like season 8. He ends up, it's weird because like when Brandon leaves, basically Steve takes over the wash house, and they actually stop referring to it as the wash house too in the later seasons. But Noah moves in. We'll get into Noah. And Matt ends up moving in. So it's weird that they kept like the wash house like a center, like a staple in this series. But how they just, because Kelly and Brandon used to date and they were engaged and stuff like that. House has so many histories. So much history as far as like Kelly goes or whatever. And so, few things. Kelly, I think, I want to say she cheated on Matt with Dylan, didn't tell him. And then, she cheated on Matt and met with Dylan. They had went to Mexico to like get some drugs for some people that were sick or whatever. You got to watch the series to get into to figure out what was going on in that episode. But long story short, they went to Mexico. I think it was all 3 of them. Matt ends up going back. Kelly and Dylan stay. End up fucking. That was that. They ain't tell nobody. Maybe she told Donna. I don't know. But she didn't tell Matt. And then fast forward, because there are situations where like Kelly, Matt, and Dylan had to like team up to get some shit accomplished. So in this instance, what were they doing? Okay, so Dylan decided that he wanted to go like biking, like on some trails. Matt wanted to go, he goes. So they meet these people out there. This one particular chick, she was like flirting with Matt the whole time. gave him some psychedelic fruit punch. He was, tripping out and stuff. And then, long story short, he ends up sleeping with the girl. Dylan was like, he's not going to tell Kelly. And, like, basically, like, it never happened type shit. Like, don't tell her if you want to keep her. Matt gets all, like, paranoid. And, how they make cheater guys act, after they've cheated in shows and stuff. Kelly was trying to figure out, like, what happened. He wanted to tell her, he just didn't at that time. Which I think by the end of the series, they were they bumping heads. I think they were, pretty much like they were kind of bumping heads, but he was like, we can get through this. Like, he his brother's wife needed, like, they were doing in vitro or whatever, and the brother's sperm didn't work, so he had to, he gave his to she got pregnant, so his brother's wife is pregnant with his child. Brother gets in, like, a horrible accident. He goes to New York for the funeral, decides he wants to be there for the kid or whatever. And so I didn't get to see the official last episode. I just saw the episode before the final one. It would have been dope if I got to see the final episode, but I'm gonna just get the DVD series and just watch it all over again so I can see every single episode. But in this, like, this is when Matt and Kelly break up. He basically was like, it's because Dylan told you that I slept with the girl in the desert or whatever. And she was like, what? Because she was already planning to break up with him, or, like, break off the engagement. But when he said that, she was just like, well, that just makes this decision, like, much more easier. And yeah, that's pretty much it with Kelly Matt Dylan situation. Now let's get to this biatch, Gina. She got on my last nerve ever since she came on the scene. Okay, so her whole deal is how they play her, because literally Gina was like the Valerie replacement in the Mean Girl department. Like, she did all the same type of shit that Valerie did, except for she went after Donna's guys instead of Kelly's, except for Dylan. Okay, so starts off, all right, she comes in on the scene, right? She's Donna's cousin. She was in the Olympics. She was like a figure skater or whatever, and she ends up getting, like, kicked off of her team or whatever. So now she's, like, stuck in Beverly Hills. Always felt like she always felt like an outcast or whatever, because she grew up, mediocre, I guess, poor but not poor, and so she was, in the first scene, or the first season that she was in, I think that's season 8 or 9, I can't remember, because she comes, like, Valerie leaves one episode, and then I think she came in, like, season 9. I want to say season 9 is when she comes in. But anyways, so so she starts going after Noah, which is Donna's boyfriend at the time. And so what happened? Like, they got drunk, and she, like, kissed him in the kissing booth, like he was fucked up. And what she did was, because I want to say he was living with, either she was living with Donna, or I can't remember. But actually she does end up living with Donna. And I think where were they at? I can't remember where he was staying, but because he lived in the wash house too. So, anyways, long story short, she was trying to get Donna to see those pictures of her kissing him and that in the photo booth, but then she ends up like taking the pictures and basically manipulating the situation more to where Donna finds out, and then it was, whole fiasco. And then some of those episodes are missing too. So I don't quite I don't know how Donna found out. It was just like it would be like the episode where some shit goes down, and then where they resolve the shit that went down in that episode is missing, and then cut to like the aftermath episode. So it was a lot of that going on. So I can't, that's why I'm drawing blanks on like how did Donna find out, but they probably didn't even have that episode up there. Anyways, so then Gina moves on to Dylan. She also has an ED, eating disorder. What else? Fast forward, we're just gonna fast forward. So then she ends up messing with David as well, and I think at this time she really purposely she didn't seek David out. It was more like they kind of bonded or something. And yeah, because I think they bonded after the whole stuff with Noah. And so then she was pretty much bouncing back and forth between David and Dylan. So that was a little love triangle going on. And it was like she was basically fucking Dylan but getting emotional support from David. And then David just pretty much was like, I can't fuck with you type shit. Fast forward a couple more episodes, come to find out that Donna's dad was fucking Gina's mom, so they're sisters. And spoiler alert. I'm trying to think of what else with those two. So they end up kind of mending their relationship, and after their dad passes away, another spoiler alert. And what else? And then I'm trying to think. I think that was it, because her and Dylan, they were going to run off and whatever, but then Dylan was like, nah, I got something to stay for. So Gina just ended up leaving, because she leaves at the end of season 9. So she was in only 2 seasons. So she comes in season 8 and leaves at the end of season 9, which I was glad. I would have preferred they kept Valerie than Gina, because I don't know. I just, okay. Okay, let's get into Miss Donna Martin. So, okay, so in the later season, she starts dating Noah. I want to say it's season 8. He comes on the scene. Season 8. So he comes on the scene. I'm gonna tell you, all right. So apparently at the end of season 7, they had went on a trip to Hawaii or some shit. It was Donna, David, Kelly, Brandon, the crew, Steve. So anyways, basically the main characters, they went on a trip, they came back. So when season 8 started off on the second episode, which is where they're rushing Kelly to the hospital and all of this stuff. So I'm like, what the fuck? What? Okay, what a way to start a season. But had I seen the first episode of the season, I would have known. And I really would have known who Noah was, because I was confused. Okay, I was like, all right, they're introducing a new character or whatever. So, any hoosers, Noah comes on the scene. I guess while they were on vacation, he ends up like coming back. I think they came back on like his boat or something. And what ended up happening? So he's pretty much pretending like he's a bum. Long story short, he got money. So yeah, because Valerie was still Valerie was still in the mix in these episodes. So so who's long story short, him and Donna start dating, and then Gina comes along and kind of like fucks it up, but they like pretty much work through it. The whole time though that they were dating, I was like, when are they going to break up? Like, I was tired of seeing her with him. Maybe because I just wanted her to be with David, and like I knew that they were going to be together, so it's just like the build up to like, okay, when are these two going to rekindle? Spoiler alert, they don't rekindle until like the 10th season. So anyways, all right, so then Noah, he starts like basically becoming an alcoholic or whatever. His dad unalives himself. He went through his tribulations. So with him dealing with his alcoholism, that's when Donna decided to break up with him. She also had a fling, because you remember she was like the good girl, like, waiting forever to sleep with a man, whatever. But there was a talent that had like came through the city, performed at like the Peach Pit or something, or didn't perform at the Peach Pit, but she heard his music or whatever, and she ends up like having a crush on him, and then they have like a fling, and he turned out to be like a scrub. And I can't remember, they might have cut out the, no, they didn't cut out the episode where, I'm pretty sure they had more interactions, but like I said, episodes are missing, so who knows. But yeah, so the moment she decides to have fun, it's like with a bum ass dude. And so then, she just pretty much is single until, was she seeing, did she date? I want to say she dated somebody else. I know this guy at the coffee shop, like he owned the coffee shop, but he had like a crush on her, and she went out with him on a date, and she had got some coffee from the restaurant. She was like, oh, well that's a good cup of joe, and it like offended the guy. What else? David was always there for her anytime. As a matter of fact, like David, he was dating other chicks. Like he had dated this one chick. He was dating this one chick. And she basically was like, you could tell she was uncomfortable with like him and Donna's, friendship, because it got to the point where like, he'd be over at her house, they're watching scary movies, they talk on the phone, just like friend stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like they were strictly platonic. They ain't even like try to kiss each other or none of that. So, when when friends get in relationships, shit gotta change, especially when you're what I'm saying, like dang, I just lost my train of thought. Okay, whatever. But relationships, you gotta make compromises and shit like that. So he tried, he was scaling back from Donna, and then he just, I think like one night they pretty much like hung out or something, ended up kissing. Then he decides like he's gonna break up with the girl, breaks up with the girl, and basically him and Donna are back together. He proposes. At first she said she had to think about it, but then like next day she was like, yeah, I'll marry you. And so, and then they get married, and I didn't even get to see the episode. So that's pretty much like the whole gist of what happened basically after Dylan got back. And But it makes seeing these episodes and seeing the characters and hearing the names and then watching the '08 reboot, like I've said in many other videos, it makes a lot more sense as to who they're talking to and referring to, especially like, and then seeing how tense Kelly gets even in the reboot, how tense she gets when Dylan called Brenda. And this was in the 2008 reboot. But yeah, everything, it makes a lot more sense now. Like, especially with Aaron, that's Kelly and David's sister. She goes by Silver. And it never, really, clicked, that that's who that was. And then watching the older episodes and seeing her mom finding out she's pregnant and all that, I was like, oh, okay, bam. But anywho's, hope you all have a good day. Until next time. Oh yeah, and also I'm watching Melrose Place. It's taking forever to get some action. So I'm going to do a little prediction video on Melrose Place, and then I think I'm going to cover a like a funny show that I like, or funny nostalgic shows that I like to watch, like sitcoms or whatever. So it's going to be, more content coming. All right, peace out, y'all.